What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. The WWE's Hell in a Cell has moved from its traditional home in the fall to June, but the show is hotter than ever as the WWE has some major matches planned for the show. Join us now as we look at the most shocking rumors you need to know about this week's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Firstly, it seems that this is WWE's pause button show. Now, while WrestleMania Backlash was supposed to be the follow-up show to close out angles from WrestleMania 37, Hell in a Cell is being used not only to follow up some storylines from WrestleMania, but to take a pause before the WWE resumes its live events and builds towards SummerSlam. For example, Drew McIntyre's Hell in a Cell match against Lashley will end their feud, which has been raging since WrestleMania, and while some fans might think the stipulation that this is the Scottish Warrior's last chance to challenge Lashley for the belt guarantees a babyface win, don't be so sure. Likewise, Roman Reigns' match against Rey Mysterio is a good way to continue Reigns' push as a merciless monster, while having Ray play David against Reigns' Goliath in a match that won't disappoint. While this might seem like a bit of a cheat, the reality is that any good B show will present some interesting matches and build up to future A shows without giving away too big of a match. The WWE obviously wants to keep Peacock happy with some strong pay-per-view numbers, but the promotion also wants to save its mega matches like the rumored John Cena vs Roman Reigns dream match for when it has paying fans present. In fact, Andrew Xavier of the Mat Men podcast tweeted WWE has big plans for when the fans return. Hearing a lot of exciting stuff on the WWE side of pro wrestling. Too early to post anything, but honestly, I am very hopeful we will see a quality turnaround by the end of the year. I hate being vague. I generally don't post things like this, but I'm very hopeful right now. Now, although Andrew was vague, a skeptical fan asked Arian what the WWE plans to do, and he added, "It's part of the plan. Cena and Brock are not the only things they have coming up. WWE and their content partners know returning to a live audience is a huge opportunity to get the train back on the tracks." With that in mind, expect Hell in a Cell to be an exciting show with two big Hell in a Cell matches, but the WWE is going to save the majority of its spectacular returns and big angles for when it returns to live events. Number 2, a betrayal in the cell? With the WWE eager to build things up for SummerSlam and get things heated up as the company brings back fans for television, pay-per-view and house shows, don't be surprised to see at least one shocking betrayal. Let's look at 3 big betrayals that will happen at Hell in a Cell or begin to play out. Number 1, Reginald. Alexa Bliss seems to have Nia Jax's boyfriend Reginald under her spell, as seen on the 14th June Raw when Carmella's former sommelier was momentarily mesmerized. With that in mind, don't be surprised if Reginald interferes in Shayna Baszler's match against Bliss this Sunday, costing the Queen of Spades the win. Could this be the last step in the setup for Nia Jax vs Shayna Baszler's feud that WWE has been hinting over the last few months? And if so, what's next for Bliss? Number 2, Kofi Kingston or Xavier Woods. MVP's manipulative mind games on Kofi Kingston have proved one of the rare interesting storylines on Raw, with fans wondering if Kofi will cave into MVP's constant reminders of Kofi's struggle to reach the same heights as he did during Kofi Mania, and how he's withering away in the company of longtime New Day partner Xavier Woods. Will Kofi turn his back on the New Day? If for whatever reason the WWE decides to have Kofi turn heel, the ideal place will be at Hell in a Cell, where he could cost Drew McIntyre his match against Bobby Lashley, which would knock Drew out of contention for the title as long as Lashley is champion, while building up a feud between McIntyre and Kingston. Don't let the cage concept fool you, as a Hell in a Cell has been breached since the first Hell in a Cell match, where Kane ripped off the door during the Undertaker vs Shawn Michaels match. While we're skeptical that WWE could pull off a clever swerve considering the Red Brand's awful record in the creative department, Xavier Woods' heel turn could surprise the fans, leading to a war between Kofi and his former New Day partner. Both New Day members are fantastic performers, and a singles feud between them could elevate them in the singles division. Number 3, Dominik Mysterio. Now, we don't think that Dominik is going to stick the knife in his old man's back at Hell in a Cell, as poor Rey has had enough problems dealing with Roman Reigns in a cage, but he will begin to get tired of Rey fighting his battles for him. Don't be shocked if Dominik interferes in the cage match to offset interference from Jay and/or Jimmy, only for it to backfire. With the rumblings of the Usos capturing the SmackDown Tag Team Championship from the Mysterios, look for tension to continue building as an overprotective Papa Rey gets under his son's skin, with things building to Dominik dishing out a beating to his dad. Next up, returns. While the WWE has a number of big returns planned, including John Cena and Edge, they seem to be saving them for their shows, such as the SmackDown scheduled for 16th July in Texas, which will feature the return of paying fans. That means the chances of seeing major stars like Cena and Edge at Hell in a Cell are unlikely. However, there are a number of WWE superstars who have been missing in action. Let's look at some returns that could crank up the heat on Raw and SmackDown. The first being Keith Lee. Now, might fans finally see the return of the Limitless One after months of inactivity? Well, there have been all sorts of speculation about why Lee has been off television, but little on what he'd do once he returns. One fan theory is that Lee might join the Hurt Business, and the addition of Kofi or Xavier could help build the group back up. The second is Aleister Black. Don't rule out a surprise return by Aleister Black, as there have been murmurings of the WWE having second thoughts about dropping the Dutch Destroyer from the roster. Right now, Big E isn't on the show, but with only 5 matches currently booked for Hell in a Cell, that could change and it'd be an ideal way of bringing Black back. Number 3, Becky Lynch. There have been so many stories of the man making her big return at this point that we're even hesitant to mention it. Granted, it would be a wonderful way to pop Raw's ratings, but again, the WWE may be waiting for the return of fans before bringing her back. Number 4, The Fiend. Now, while everyone seems to have a theory on why Bray Wyatt has been off television, the latest story is that WWE is merely waiting for the right time to bring him back. Could he return to exact revenge on Alexa Bliss for betraying him at WrestleMania, or might he go after a new opponent? Given The Fiend's lousy booking over the last few months, the WWE had best make sure they have a solid storyline for when he does return. And Sasha Banks. Last and certainly not least, Sasha Banks has been inactive on SmackDown, opening up a program between Bayley and current Women's Champion Bianca Belair. However, the boss has unfinished business with both Bayley and Bianca, as Banks never finished her feud with Bayley and Sasha never received a rematch after dropping the SmackDown title to Belair at WrestleMania. Might Banks bounce back into the title picture, turning the Bayley vs Belair rivalry into a triple threat? The WWE has wisely given Bayley and Belair time to further their feud in one-on-one competition, but adding Sasha to the program could add mileage to it. And rounding out the show. Now, as always, fans are always wondering what other matches to expect at the show. The WWE has 5 matches already listed, with 2 Hell in a Cell matches on the schedule. The 6th could be all the promotion needs to fill out a 2.5 or 3 hours worth of programming, not counting the pre-show, of course. WWE.com hasn't confirmed a title defense by Raw Tag Team Champions Styles and Omos against the Viking Raiders, but Monday Night's Raw provided a good build-up as the Raiders teamed up with Drew McIntyre against the Tag Champs and Bobby Lashley. This match could happen, or the WWE could throw out another Intercontinental Championship defense by Apollo Crews. With Sheamus still recovering from a broken nose, a United States Championship defense seems unlikely, but it can't be ruled out. But there you have it, guys, rumors regarding this week's Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. What do you guys think will happen? Who do you think will return? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.